to get one of the top 5 banned against Estral for Conviction. It will be the Rumble ban. Getting a lot of those mid lane mobility champs out as well with the Talia. The Aurora still flexible with the different roles they can choose. Estral going to wait for this first pick, exactly what they want to set themselves up for. Could be looking to get that steal away, not only from Perryy, but giving some engaged potential over to SolidSnake.
Yeah, and Perryy has a lot in his wheelhouse, so I'm sure he'll be able to find something comfortable for him. Even though nerfed on this patch, Pantheon, there's still a lot of power in this champion. Perryy has piloted it to some great success. Another thing in my mind is the Nico. Most regions, pretty much everywhere else, really prioritize the champion, including the LRN, but rather, not just Conviction, but most of the NACL actually don't really have a big focus on the champion. It's really only Luminosity who play it. So I'm wondering if that's something that Estral will be able to get their hands on.
All right, we see the Trundle locked in. They're going to give him some skirmishing potential in the jungle, give him some fighting pressure against the Wukong. See what the double lock-in is going to be for Conviction here. Wouldn't mind seeing them get something set up for this mid-jungle duo as well. Some mobility potentially to join up with Perryy from Viper, if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of options here. Wow, they're going to go for the Rise immediately. I mean, fair enough. I think the Trundle pillar lends itself a lot to, those higher DPS champions. You're able to flow, make it easier for Rise to get off a lot of his combos, and you do have some of that mobility with the Realm Warp to make some of those cross-map plays you were talking about.
Yeah, you do indeed. Like to see some of that, see what that communication lies. That was also a big question levied towards Estral and how their communication works, especially with bringing in a couple Korean imports, but figuring that out is going to be the next step for them here as the Ambessa is locked in alongside the Corki. You definitely have some carry potential now for Estral.
Yeah, 100%. And now I'm kind of looking to see if Conviction go this sort of anti-dive route. I see Wukong, I see Ambessa. I already see this comp that is just going to be sprinting at you full speed. So camps like Alistar, Braum really come to mind that I know Stunt is definitely partial to playing, but it's also something that they could leave a little later because answering top lane is also an option for them.
See the Jax locked in. It's a tried and true for TFBlade, something he's won countless games on, even 1v9 a couple for himself on those in the regular season and the playoffs itself. It is going to be a very powerful trio locked in for Conviction so far.
Yeah, really good side laner as well. This is the newly buffed Jax, by the way, where when you use that Grandmaster at Arms, that initial armor and MR bonus has gone up a not insignificant amount. So it is really going to make the timings when that ultimate is available something TFBlade and Conviction really take advantage of.
Now the answers are going to have to come through in the bot lane. We do see the Syndra ban because Corki can still be flexible. I do like to see some of that focus here as we get the cams of the players. Huge. Like Let's go, production. Love to see it. Obviously locked in the same room, ready to go. And especially, having that synergy being in person, I think is such an important factor. We've seen on so many different occasions for so many different teams. See if that helps Estral today, as they do end up going with the Nico ban. Just in case from Estral's side in the second phase.
Yeah, you don't want to take any chances, even though, we don't see a whole lot of that at NACL. Makes a lot of sense that you just want to start pinching that support pool, because I think that's really where a lot of that big impact in this draft is going to be there for Conviction. You got to imagine that's going to be the R5 for them, whatever Stunt is going to pick. So you want to limit some of the best options possible.
And, I do love to see some of the big focuses in the support role being pinched to the last here, see what they're going to want to go with to try to provide for their team in a lot of cases. We do see the Azir ban joined on top of that Syndra ban and the Lucian ban towards that bot lane. So now let's see what exactly Conviction want to keep for their final pick, for that counter pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I know Jinx is also a champion that has gotten buffed, who I think that 20 range on the Q at all ranks, I actually think is a pretty big deal. I don't know if you want to be running that into the Wukong Ambessa, so the Xayah ends up making a lot more sense. So there's a chance there for Estral. I mean, they want Rakan. You got to imagine as Conviction, you are never going to get this combination anyway. But it is really important for them to be able to deny that. And you got to imagine Stunt has something else in his corner.
And if he does get it, it's going to be one of his most comfortable champions as well.
That would be crazy.
We'll see if it does end up coming through for them. We'll see exactly what Estral's idea is to kind of tie this composition together. I do like the Galio pick here to kind of bring in some reinforcements when SolidSnake is getting aggressed in the jungle, or if he's the one making the advantageous plays. We'll see what their final pick is going to be.
Yeah, it'll be really nice to be making plays in that side lane too. We kind of highlighted TFBlade on the Jax. He's going to be able to do a lot of work individually, 1v1s, even 1v2s in some instances. So I think the Galio being able to even those odds is going to have to make him really think twice about
the Renata's pretty
take.
huge. I actually really like it because the one thing that Estral want to do when they go in, they are all in. They are throwing everything at the wall and going straight at you, and that hostile takeover is going to do numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we were alluding to in that first rotation something on that anti-dive route. Renata is actually probably the best pick available in that regard, especially because plays well into Recon. That hostile takeover is just amazing for slowing down engages, and there's the bailout as well, just to keep your team going a little bit longer, try to bring them back to life with that assist or kill.
Yeah, I do like it as well. Just a little caveat, you change up the bot lane for Conviction, they go with a new bot lane for themselves. Get to see the Renata for the first time from Stunt this split at least, as well as Viper didn't play the Xayah. So Cody Sun coming in and changing things up a little bit. But I'm very excited to see what that 2v2 has in store for us in that bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, especially because Cody Sun, while we haven't seen him much in North America, hasn't been slacking really by any regards, has been playing a lot in the ERLs. I remember casting him when he played for Mirage Elyandra in 2022. So he's definitely still got some experience under his belt, and you got to imagine that synergy with Stunt just waiting to be reignited.
And it's going to need to, because if you look across from them, not only do you have a literal world champion, and I'm not talking about Mazel.
Not Mazel.
I'm talking about the Jin Goat, the guy that got us the skin, Ghost for Dom1 Kia, and Winsome, who, yes, maybe the last time he was here wasn't the brightest spot, but you got to remember all those times on FlyQuest when Winsome was probably the best support in the league.
Yeah, that split on FlyQuest was some of the best we've ever seen from him, and it's the hope that we can see him kind of come back to that here, especially with the struggle that Estral's been working for. Yeah, what got him to Tier 1 in the first place? And Estral, again, both of these teams are fighting for their lives, but for a super team like Estral, I think anything for them other than promoting to the LCS next year is a failure. So that's resolve is already going to get tested right here.
And we're into game number 1. Do or die series between Estral and Conviction. Game 1 kicking off now.
I think immediately things that jump out to me about this early game, how both junglers are going to be able to impact these lanes with ganks. We know both have been able to do a really good job of that this past split. So how are both sides going to be able to mitigate that? And TFBlade already.
I like it.
Do a little bit of harassment. Yeah, I respect it. Slows down the clear. But actually, interesting.
You want to
call
it out?
Yeah, Ghost is actually in the top lane.
He's getting this in before they change it for Worlds, by the way. He didn't recognize, they did release that they are going to be changing this to where they want our top ADCs to be facing our top ADCs and our top laners facing our top. Not now. Estral saying, no, let's take advantage of it. So Ghost is going to use this lane swap tech that we've been seeing come up in the later half of these seasons.
And I think I like it in this situation too, because Ghost, we should have an easy time in these early levels into the Jack, be able to free farm really effectively. This bot lane would already be tough for Ghost, so putting Summit down here, getting pushed in as it was already going to happen, I think they just making the best out of a not great matchup.
And I'm just throwing it out. Maybe I'm a little biased too. The WE lane swap has come into effect. This team WE in the LPL were the ones that first whipped this out here, at least in the Tier 1 setups. And so far, Summit taking the worst end of the trades in bot side, but both junglers now playing a little bit with their food.
Oh!
We do see the invade, and Viper's going to be forced to flash the mid lane. He's on the wrong side of the rift and on the wrong side of the tracks. You ain't welcome round here. Cody will take first blood.
Yeah, that is the power of that Galio into mages. But now, oh yeah, I like this.
Dude, he's hiding in the dark like a horror movie right now. It is October. He does have the haunted skin here for Perryy, but this was all a play set up by Conviction with Perryy invading early onto the Krubs.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to also take away that red buff. A big denial on SolidSnake on top of taking away his flash. So another setup like that could turn into a kill in favor of Conviction Esports. Really nice of them to use that bot lane pressure that they've gotten for their jungler.
And now that we've gotten the level 3, we will see Winsome rejoining Ghost in the top side of the map. And that next question of those objective setups is going to come up with the early move from Estral. And now the reset coming in from Ghost. Probably going to change up a little bit here as TP is going to be utilized by Summit to get back down towards bot side. It's actually going to be SolidSnake looking for a little bit of an invade his own, try to get those Krugs back on the other side of the map.
But can he? Yeah, it looks like no one should be able to stop him. The pings are coming out. So Perryy knows this is happening as we see the replay in that picture again. Viper, thinking he was flashing towards his jungler, unfortunately walked into SolidSnake.
Did give him the info, I guess, to make that Krug play in the end. As Stunt will try to hit the handshake, but Cody expertly dodges out of it with the Justice Punch. And we'll see now a back being initiated by TFBlade. We have to come to that question of the early dragons. We already said Conviction hate dragons. That's not their best friend. They do not like going early dragons, but Estral, they actually had like 2.6 dragons before 15 minutes. So being able to prioritize that doesn't seem like it's going to be the case today, at least in game number 1.
No, it seems that we have both bot lanes up on that top side at that expected timer. Seems like it is more of a focus on trying to get priority for those grubs. I think especially as Conviction, when you have a side laner as strong as TFBlade on the Jack, those grubs can actually do a lot of work for you. So you got to imagine Conviction really want to focus on that.
Going to be a pretty hefty push on that top side rather, with the bot laners getting it all turned around now, obviously. Summit and TFBlade still going to be at this bot side, though. Perryy is pathing down this way. I wonder if he wants to either go for a gank or go for the preemptive dragon ahead of the grub spawn. He'll be spawning in just a couple minutes. It does look like some pings are coming down from Perryy. Go ahead and start that one up.
That's right. Not quite at level 6s just yet, so I don't think Estral can really do much about it. Instead, Winsome trying to set up, see if TFBlade goes for an all-in.
Oh, he took the bait all right. He gets the grand entrance right on top of him, and Estral trying to make a play here as SolidSnake's going to be here as well. Perryy was just trying to do the dragon. It is TFBlade top laner. Might just be the bait. He gets out, and the dragon goes down. Conviction get out by the skin of their teeth, honestly.
Team needs to be able to secure that first dragon ahead of the grubs. So now Conviction can rotate and set their sights on this top side of the map.
I am a little worried here. Ghost is 2 levels up on Cody Sun now. That is not normal. Check him PC, I guess, but he's going to get the back off here ahead of the grub spawn in about a minute and a half. So far, Estral with a pretty significant lead in the early game at 1,000 gold up, but I think that grub fight is going to be in the big cliff's edge.
Yeah, that's right. That's really where we have to keep our sights set on it. I think with Estral's comp, that's going to work really well if they manage to get onto that objective first. And considering some of the push they've been able to get in these lanes, I think they'll be able to have that. It's just going to be about whether or not Conviction can actually kind of break that turtle that Estral are working with, or if they want to trade, as we've seen them so often do. They could set up a play onto Summit on the bottom side of the map if they want to trade for it.
I love to see both teams trying to contest over Vision. At least Estral going to be the first ones here to get this Vision down. I know Cody Sun really wants to try to hit that level 6 before going into this fight. And also, speaking of the junglers, level 6s, I think also very important. Perry's a little bit closer than SolidSnake, but very close to getting that one here for himself ahead of this fight. Summit and TFBlade, they are just going to stay down here. They're going to be hustling it out with no TPs, and it looks like it could just be a 4v4.
Yeah, I imagine there's gonna be an all-in somewhere here on the bottom side. There's no TPs, and TFBlade's getting the better of some of these trades. We'll have to see, but I think that trade that I was mentioning might be happening because we're seeing a rotation here. They actually might try and set up this dive. This TFBlade's trying to come to.
Take down Summit. I gotta say, he's a little bit scary with the public execution. They're gonna try to go for it, waiting for the counter strike, waiting to make sure, but he uses the unstoppable through it. Summit is outplaying the 1v3. He's gonna get the bailout. It's gonna get a kill. He gets it just in time. TFBlade's gonna die. It's the 1-for-1, and now it is Conviction who have given up all control of that top side.
Yeah, but now we have
Now
dive.
They're going to go try to get onto Viper. That heroic entrance does connect. Winsome expertly tanks it. Ghost tanks the extra shot. And now Perryy finds himself all alone in the midst of a dozen, it seems, members of Estral, as they will go right back to the grub.
Props to Summit for being able to get the 1-for-1 in that situation, considering his team on the top side secured that top dive without losing a man. It ends up being more beneficial for Estral overall. Perryy is trying to take advantage of this back timer. Will actually be able to get right onto those grubs. And I actually think this back timer does guarantee that he'll be able to get all of them. I mean, Estral using all their ults to secure that kill. They just didn't feel confident about securing fighting for this objective.
Yeah, I'm surprised they ended up not giving any pressure there. So that'll be all 3 grubs, a permanent buff.
Yeah.
To Conviction, and they can utilize very well in the side lanes. That is where they excel, and that's where we can start talking about these comps a little bit more. Is the side lane pressure for Conviction is wonderful. That's going to be great.
Yeah.
But the team fight for Estral, I mean, those combinations in these big choke point situations can be so deadly. Speaking of deadly, going to get the flash out there as he's going to be able to make his way away. We do get the heal coming through too. Estral getting away just on the nick of time. As Cody Sun putting in some good damage on the Ghost. Here comes TFBlade as well.
Yeah, both flashes available for Ghost, but TFBlade has it due.
How's he gonna use it? He doesn't use it. He just dies. He absolutely just gets wrecked by TFBlade. And now TFBlade is gonna try to find his exit. Here's the hostile takeover coming across. He wants to maybe go back for the fight. Clone is gonna do some friendly fire, and Estral will just lose their bot laner out of that play.
Yeah, I mean, the cost is a pretty big wave on that top side. You can see Cody doing a little dirty farming too to make sure the next wave also crashes, but TFBlade will be able to teleport and catch that. I like the pressure onto Ghost because he is going to be, I think something we hadn't mentioned yet, that main source of damage for this team later on. So if you can put him behind or find ways to continue isolating him and taking him down, that really is Conviction's way to win these team fights. Just get rid of Ghost.
Yeah, that's where their damage is going to be coming from for sure. Little worried at how the CS differential in that mid lane is going. Cody definitely getting the better of these side lanes than Viper for now. So the scaling still going to be at the back of Viper once he gets going. If we set back out onto the map, we have about 10 seconds for this next dragon. And bot side, Viper's just dying in the side lane. This is where this team is supposed to be good. And they are falling apart here. Multiple catches in the side lane, and Estral continuing to find an advantage with Cody.
Yeah, Viper has been a pressure point that Estral are not afraid to press on. To great benefit too, so the response has to come through from Conviction, and you can see it absolutely does. No flash on Summit, only the ult. Can he outplay this one as well?
We'll see. Did it last time, using that public execution perfectly, go unstoppable. He uses it again to get away from the counter-strike. He's going to dodge out, but I don't think the turret's going to help him this time, and that will be a kill going over to Perryy.
Yeah, they have the grubs. Remember, they're also going to be able to collect basically all of these plays. I don't know if Winsome actually wants to... Oh,
he's got the heroic entrance as well. The double entrance, the red carpet is laid out, and Cody Sun stepping up a little bit. A little scary there. The taunt was coming through, but they do survive, and they do save the turret for Estral.
Still, valuable play for Conviction. They already got the first dragon, so that dragon for Astralis is nowhere close to his soul. They get a kill, they get some plates, one more like that, and it is going to be first brick, really making good use of the grubs that they've earned.
Viper died. And, you know, that's how things work out.
I guess so.
Hopefully we'll get a replay of that. He's 0-4 now.
I don't know if I want to. I'm kind of scared.
You're an Estral fan. You absolutely want to.
Yeah, true. For the Estral fans, maybe we'll show the replay then. True.
But we are seeing those first items come abroad, as we do already have 3 of them completed. Way out in front of Conviction so far, even though the lead in gold isn't that big. The double Trinity Force completions for SolidSnake and Ghost is going to feel really good in some of these skirmishes. And the fact that Viper still has not completed his rod is going to be a little bit tough here. The scaling is going to come in so much later than you want. Estral, it seems like they have the momentum in the earlier part of the game right now, Beatdown.
That's right. Viper very much put behind the curve, as you pointed out. And you can see Cody been able to do a lot this game. Part of 3 out of the 5 kills that Estral have been able to earn. This Galio really paying dividends and its value is going to increase over time. Ghost, though.
Oh, Ghost is in a lot of trouble. He's going to end up burning that flash that we talked about earlier. Still going to get taken down. Potentially the flash from Perryy has to be there as a response, and SolidSnake claims his life afterward.
Yeah, I mean, I respect the commitment to the all-in. Again, keeping Ghost off the map, even if it's 1-for-1, I still think slightly favors Conviction, because anytime he's not spent farming is just an absolute win for Conviction Esports. He's their big source of damage. The rest of this comp is going to carry Estral through the early mid-game, but Ghost has to be the one to take them all the way to the finish line. So if you limit his ability to move, that's how you do it.
And it's really been Estral taking advantage of these side lanes over and over again, and Cody just continuously fighting it. Advantage. He's 50 CS up over
So
Viper
strong.
now. He's gotten so many daggone plates, and he has just propelled himself into the forefront of this game on a Galio.
Yeah, again, the value that Cody's been able to bring cannot be spoken of enough. He's so far ahead of Viper right now, both from his individual play and how much focus Estral have been able to put onto him. So now's the response.
Okay, there you go. He's going to try to get him again. Summit trying to get away. He's got the momentum. Viper isn't going to find it, and Summit again makes Conviction question their motive.
Yeah, Summit has been doing a great job dodging out on so many of these plays, or making them more costly than Conviction could hope for. Because of that, now this dive really isn't going to work. I don't think they're actually going to try for it. They just want this wave to crash. Right, guys? Oh!
They're going to try for it. Stunt's tanking up. Cody Sun says, I want the kill. He's got the bail out there. He's going to get the kill in the end. Goes on a killing spree for himself. And they're going to get the turret with the grubs.
DP, if they recognize it, I think they saw it now. The question is, will they know to walk up?
Level 11. Cody feeling
Good
very
lord.
confident
Yes,
here. He's going to use the taunt. The flash comes through. Ghost has found his angle too. There's the feather dance, and see if he has the blade collar going through. It's not going to be there. Hostile takeover also going to be used. And that is going to be both ultimates from Cody Sun and Stunt, as well as a couple summoner stuff.
Yeah, look at what happened across map. Now, never mind.
And Viper gets something, but what did it cost? He's going to use the phase rush to get away, as he does have Perryy right there behind him. A little bit of escort, but TFBlade is here trying to close this door on Winsome's entrance into it. Luckily, they have teamwork, and they walk straight out.
SolidSnake also used his ultimate already. Must have been a misclick.
Perryy got baited a little bit by Ghost, knowing he doesn't have the flash, knowing they have the angle there. Now they're going to get onto SolidSnake. This is Realm Warp, or Rune Prison, rather. He's going to be there as well. You have 4-man strong from Conviction right ahead of this Rift Herald, but they're going to look at mid lane outer instead.
Yeah, it ends up working out. They should have the fast track to the Rift Herald. I don't think there's really a response to be had. Again, SolidSnake mistakenly using the Cyclone will actually really hamper Estral's ability to fight for that Rift Herald. But at the moment, we're going back to neutral, it looks like. Oh, no, I think they were going to go for a potential invade, but Conviction not going to go straight towards that Rift Herald just yet.
Got to set up what we're really looking at in these next fights. We've said so much and so long that Ghost is the primary damage dealer for Estral. Seems like there's a couple different avenues for Conviction on their side of things, as we do see the double neutral objective trait going through the Rift Herald for the Dragon number 2 of Conviction.
Yeah, and it's something that Estral will be able to work with here with that Herald. Should be able to use it to knock down that final outer turret on the bottom side of the map. Or if they get a good successful team fight, they could knock down an inner and really start to collect on some gold here.
I wonder where they want to end up using that here. The bot lane could be an option.
Probably. Set up for the next dragon, you know?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Still a while for that one, but the Infernal Dragon is definitely going to at least change the motive moving forward. I think having an Infernal Soul for either side is going to feel really good.
Pretty good, yep.
As we do see a little bit of play in mid lane coming through from Estral. They're going to move back to their side lanes as Winsome is being pressed by Perryy. Perryy has been very influential in how Conviction have been finding themselves in a lot of fights in this one. I think rightfully so. He's the guy that we kind of put up on a pedestal for Conviction.
Yeah, and a player who, when I saw him on this roster, I knew even if they didn't start off well, that this team would be at least decent by the end of the split. This is a player who, when he subbed for Dignitas, academy years ago, helped them get to second place, grew so much when he started on Cincinnati Fear in 2023 as a player, and has just continued to impress every time he's in the league. And this split is no exception.
Now he is not up here for this top lane play, as they do get a tier 2 turret because of the Rift Herald play. Now the Realm Warp's going to come in from Viper. He puts himself in the middle of the fight, as he's going to get the lockdown onto Summit as well. The Redemption had been used there just in case by Winsome. And the side lane play actually goes to Estral's favor.
They do get to walk away. Did cost some ultimates, but of course Conviction had to use some as well. The question is, can Perryy actually get in here and steal a little more resources away? And you can see he's fishing for it. He's going to find himself a wolf camp and happily chow down.
He is chowing on the Trundle pick, as he's going to be trying to take away as much as he can. Does end up getting a couple camps away from SolidSnake. The redeploy defensively from Estral is going to be here to try to scoop up as much vision control as they can moving forward. But that's also something we got to talk about is, you know, the elephant in the room right now is that Cody and SolidSnake are pretty far ahead. And especially Cody, who going into Viper, you could say what you want. Viper going into mid lane, maybe not his home, but where is really his home at this point? But Cody has been having an incredible start to this game on a pick he hasn't played so far this split.
Yeah, and you can see a replay of this dive here on how they were able to take down Summit pretty easily. And the fact that he's been able to lane pretty well this game, avoid death the entire time, and again, keep ahead of Ghost by virtue of that, and the fact that, again, Conviction are doing a really good job of pressuring Ghost, keeping him off the map, killing him as often as they can to limit his ability to farm and get ahead.
So the dueling fates going through here. The big eyes on Cody Sun, that replacement here. Moving Viper to that mid lane as we see Ghost in tow, engaging onto Perryy, who's been going for these extensions, but now is going to be punished for it. You got a couple rockets going your way. He will get out, though, for burning that flash. And meanwhile, we have another kickoff fight. Cody dodging out of the handshake. Now the public execution going in. And
they're going.
Pops the Cyclone. They're getting caught up in the windstorm right now. And that's going to be TFBlade using his leap strike to get away. Ahead of this dragon, though, it's still about a minute and a half. Estral going to look for another side lane play, but they're on vision. They're going to go for the Atacon.
Yeah, real nice ult from Summit to be able to set up this play. They have to buy time for Perryy, but Estral can just go ahead and get right on this. Only thing is they do this kind of slow because Ghost isn't at those breakpoints yet. And I think with Viper being here full health, it's enough for them to realize, okay, Perry's coming back. We don't actually want to risk this. We'll try and threaten this one again later.
I think, oh,
we cancel it back. I was going to say.
Troll his team.
Literally.
He's just, you know, making sure that Conviction were just going to scoop it up as they left. A couple of pings coming down to the Dragon Pit now, though, especially from Estral. They want to stop this decision-making power of a soul point to Conviction.
That's right. 40 seconds till this Dragon. If Conviction get it, they have a big threat possibility 5 minutes after that fact. So even though Atacon hasn't been taken, bot side will still be the focus. And Conviction are in a good spot because that top lane is already pushing. They don't have to go for it. TFBlade is going to walk it straight down mid with that Sundered Sky newly finished. Actually a pretty big breakpoint for the Jacks. Summit isn't quite there yet. The TFBlade, he has a chance to do a lot of work this game alongside Cody Sun.
He does. Ghost on his second item spike now too, though. That's going to be very powerful. Here comes the setup from Conviction. They're going to move in from that side lane now. They do have some positioning from Cody in the mid lane too. He does have that heroic entrance, so he can always join. It's going to be Conviction that start up the Dragon first. Yeah,
they have eyes on Ghost Summit. They might go for this.
Oh, they just want to go for the play. TFBlade was thinking about flashing with Counter-Strike. Didn't decide to go through with it. He's going to save that play for in this next fight as they tried to pull the trigger onto Estral's bot lane.
That's right. They do give up a good amount of space in the process.
Oh, we got a little bit of a fight kicking off on Viper here. Perryy now forced into the fight because of the play onto Viper. They're going to try to get a counter-strike from TFBlade. He gets the double. He's not going to get Ghost in the end, though. It's going to be TFBlade running rampant. As a double kill comes through for Cody Sun at 2. The Realm Warp is going to come through, and Ghost gets caught. The prison takes him down to the abyss, and a triple kill for Cody Sun.
And Conviction, they're going to pull ahead. They're going to get their third dragon and the soul point. I think this was a turn. I think this is a turning point in the game because now they've gotten the gold lead for the first time. They're up 2K, and of course, they're going to secure this Otacon as well. Another permanent buff into their back pockets, and Estral are really going to start to sweat.
And all of a sudden, just like the flip of a switch, Conviction have full control from a game that was seemingly just resting in Estral's hands. It is just that one play that turns things topsy-turvy now. And 6-0 for the newly subbed in Cody Sun.
Yeah, and honestly, I see what Estral were looking for. Isolated target really works out for your team's dive comp, but the problem is just that, you know, Perry's not a great target to try and flash on as that Rakan. He can really sustain himself really well with this natural healing, with this help you can steal with this subjugate as well. So the fact that Perryy was able to just tank that and buy time for the rest of this team was really why that worked.
Now it is 3 items on Cody Sun with the Void Flicker Blade, with the IE. Very scary stuff in these team fights as well. And we're going to really start seeing Conviction's side laning pressure come about. We actually see a little bit of pressure in the mid lane. Ghost going to be forced out of his own jungle. The rest of Conviction were collapsing as well, even with Viper being so far behind. He does have the CC lockdown to make sure that Conviction can follow through on a lot of these fights. And right now, we are not getting any like true strength of macro for Conviction. They are just trying to force the hand of Estral, and maybe they just got answered to, as that's going to be a big heroic entrance coming in. He's going to get the double taunt, looking for the triple. The public execution is not going to connect, though, in the end. SolidSnake was waiting over the wall. I feel like if Summit does connect there, that changes everything.
Potentially steal more resources out of SolidSnake's jungle. He's been able to keep a pretty steady lead of at least 20 CS because of all the farming he's been able to do in his jungle and in SolidSnake.
He has. He's been running around like crazy.
Yeah.
And he's actually just going to start up the Baron. Okay.
Oh,
I see you,
guess.
Conviction.
All right, sure.
Force
I mean, make
hand.
them walk into you.
Isn't that the play we've been seeing from Conviction, though? They have literally just been trying to hands check Estral every time, and in the early game, it wasn't really going their way, but this is multiple times that we've seen them just force the issue on different fronts, and Estral did not have an answer. That's just a Baron to Conviction.
Wow, completely uncontested, completely unencumbered. Another big buff going the way of Conviction Esports. And now, TFBlade's ability to side lane improves that much. He's already such a problem that I'm pretty sure I don't think any 2 members of Astralis can also fight TFBlade. You literally need a third.
Yeah, you have to bring multiple members, and now with the Baron buff, it's going to be even scarier. But this is why they draft this pick. This is TFBlade's comfort zone. What he's done, it feels like all split long for Conviction, is that pressure in the side lane when he's allowed to take this Jax. You've seen Conviction move fluidly through the enemy jungle. And now, speaking of side lane, Perry's taking his own name into account here. He's going to flash out Summit, and he's going to take him down in the 1v1. He's going to use the pillar, and he's going to get all the filthy plays, too. Meanwhile, the top side is Conviction getting routed by Estral. They did not have Cody. They did not have Perryy, and now they're in some deep, deep trouble. But Cody Sun has shown up. He puts down the world champion Ghost, and he takes everything in the top side.
Then still a net positive play for Conviction as Cody saves the day, knocks down a tier 2, and is going to threaten this inhibitor turret as well. Baron buff going strong, and a very big power play for Conviction.
I mean, Cody Sun is going to come out heads and above, the MVP of this game, #1 at least. He just completely handled the clean-up crew aspect of that. Takes an inhib turret, too. Perryy is taking the bot side this entire time, whacking away at the gold lead. Then now Conviction is just building up to a monstrous level. 6,000 gold up, 27 minutes in.
And this is exactly what Conviction have been doing to so many teams in the NACL, especially in the playoffs, just making it so that every play you make, they trade even or above. They just have such a clear understanding of what they want to do, what they need to do, and how to maximize every situation that they're in.
Now moving forward, Estral, the power we gave them, talking about their comp, was some of these team fighting aspects they have. A lot of the wombo combos they're able to bring in. But some of that's kind of falling through the cracks now that you don't really have a stable front to stand on. And we see Winsome get chunked down to about half health, but this is the end-all be-all. This is the Infernal Dragon Soul going down. TFBlade giving up his life for it. He stays alive. Oh my god, TFBlade gets publicly executed though. Summit is going to try to take him down. He's still going. He's still healing. TFBlade through all of it. What the actual hell? TFBlade stands tall in the face of Estral, and that's going to be Conviction dominating game number 1.
That's Dragon Soul, that's the ace, and that's all she wrote, Mazel. They're just gonna walk it down mid. How about the unkillable TFBlade here on the Jax? They just can't do anything about him.
They respected the Riven. They respected the Poppy from Viper and Perryy individually. They did not respect the Jax, something that has been a nightmare for NACL teams ever since TFBlade graced the NACL with his presence in Game 1 to Conviction.
And what a Game 1 it was. Any question marks about the roster changes coming in at the last minute for Conviction, I feel have been answered, Mazel, because I think that was a pretty well executed Game 1, with the exception, I'm sorry, Viper, that Rise game, that wasn't it. But that's okay. Somebody has to eat it every game.
He got that one rune prison that made the difference, all right?
He did. I'll give him that. That was nicely done. He pressed his W key, my man.
Viper's like, man, mid's easy, bro. Mid's easy.
No, that's literally the game you type mid-diff, by the way. Just for maximum tiltage.
0-4 to start the game off.
Bro, better mid always wins.
Actually incredible. A really good gritty turnaround from Conviction. Some question marks definitely levied over towards Estral. They had a very strong earlier part of the game, but we always knew the side lane was where Conviction were going to succeed, and it seemed like Estral were trying to play into that more often than not, and they seem to be getting the advantage of it. But once these scaling aspects come online, once the Jax comes online, there are really no answers.
Yeah, you were definitely on some borrowed time there, and I think something Estral didn't really take into account is how vulnerable Ghost is in that early game when they play so much through those other lanes. And it was something that Conviction were, taking advantage of, keeping him out of the game, keeping him behind, not letting him farm, delaying those power spikes.
We'll see if they can come back in game number 2. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll break down that game number 1 after.